Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Last time we saw two examples of swallowing and the sleep, the wave and the sleep. And now the third example is given. And what are these exercises through the examples? They are the yoga bhumikas. These are ways, triggers to meditation, and that meditation, that conscious silence that we reach is our essential nature. And when we contemplate on these examples, then what happens? All thoughts from our mind clear up, and when there is observation going on. What is observation? Observer observing but no object to observe. That is purification of your mind, and that we've used the word last week, objectless awareness, and that itself is the state of immortality. Now a third example is given of the vision shifting from one object to another. नाना एका ठाउनी उठी अन्यत्र नवे पैठी हे गमे तैसिया दृष्टि दिठी सुता. Or it is like the vision which has been lifted from one object but has not yet gone to the other object. Swamiji says, or the vision has lifted from one object of knowledge, but it has not yet landed on another object of knowledge. Like I am seeing the word or, and my attention has not gone to the next word in the text, which is called the. Now what is between or and the? There is a gap. The term drishti stands for all the sense organs. So we are not only talking about vision, we are talking about all sense organs. By the lakshana vritti, in the perception of an object, three aspects are involved. Perception happens by seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting. That is, first, there is the object of knowledge has to be there. Second, the mind taking the shape of the object in the form of thought of the object. And third, this thought bathing in the light of consciousness, thus resulting in the reflection of consciousness in the thought. And that is the reflection, light of consciousness, thus resulting in the reflection of thought. What is that reflection of thought? That is the I thought. So the example that we have given you before is, there is the general light on the wall, but there are some places there is specific light. Similarly, there in the general light, the thought is illumined, the object is illumined, but the specific light, that is the reflected consciousness, light of consciousness, that is the I, which appears with every object. The subject appears with every object. Then what is this individuality? It is an imagined continuity of that I, because the thoughts are coming and going so fast. The whole process is to slow down. And in the previous verse, it was told when we go to sleep, it automatically slows down. Thus, every thought is an independent trio. We have seen this many times before. The reflected consciousness or specific reflection is called as Chidabhasa, which illumines not only the thought but also the contents of thought, thus becoming the knower of the contents of thought. Thus, when the vision was on the first object, there was the trio wherein the Chidabhas, the thought of the object in the mind, etc., were with reference to the object. So that one Chidabhas comes about only with reference to one object. Then the next one. Later, the vision is lifted from that object, meaning that object is dropped from the womb of thought and a second object takes its place to form a new trio. This is such a high frequency process that the Chidabhasa, which is independent with reference to each thought, acquires an illusion of continuity like the Alata Chakra. The torch is in a fast circular motion. This pseudo continuity of the relative drashta is the illusion, and that is the individual that you are and anyone is. So right now what is happening here on page 612, we are reading. What is that? Alata Chakra, the torch in fast circular motion. So what was the object? Alat. Then there was a gap. Then the next object of perception was chakra. Then there was a gap. Then the next object of perception was the. Then it was torch. Then it was in. Then it was fast. Then it was circular. Then it was motion. So with each of these words, there was a Chidabhas. But what is your experience? That, hey, I am only reading the whole thing. Where is the problem? So this continuity is to be cut. That is the Alata Chakra. It appears there, but actually is not there. Therefore, it is called as the pseudo continuity. Catch this about yourself. This is what, when we do japa, Vaikhari, Madhyama, Pashyanti, as we are doing, this is what we come to recognize. One thought at a time. And with this understanding, when you do the japa, even better. Here the exercise discussed is, the first thought is dropped, the mind or thought is empty. Therefore, the thought will have no shape. So shapeless thought, thoughtless thought, thoughtless mind, and there will be no specific reflection of consciousness as Chidabhas. So when there is no object in the mind, there is no Chidabhas created. Think. Nor is there a second thought, yet so a trio is not possible. So between two objects, there is a gap, there is silence, there is conscious silence, but the consciousness has got nothing to illuminate. So no Chidabhasa is created. No knower is created. Nor is there a second thought, yet so a trio is not possible. In this situation, the Chidabhas has nothing to illumine. This nothingness becomes the object of knowledge. I am the seer of nothingness. Then this seerness, drashtabhav, also gets dropped. So expose yourself to silence again and again and again and again and again. Again, sit in front of a wall, keep your eyes open, and don't and keep looking at the surface of the wall, close by, just like that. See what happens. You have to experiment. Without that, just we are only in our mind thinking pros and con thoughts. This state between the two drishtis, if maintained for a long period of time, results in effortless meditation. When this drishti is lifted from one object but has not landed anywhere else, what is that state of suspension? It is observer without any observed. It is experiencer without any experienced object. It is seer without a seen object. It is like hearer with no words, nothing to hear. This happens to you many times. What is that state of suspension between the two thoughts? There is a seer without anything to be seen. Seer without seen is beyond the trio of seer, seen, seeing. The witnessing consciousness is beyond the trio of waker, waking experience, and waking body. Dreamer, dream experience, and the dream experience objects, and the dream body. So these are the trio. Similarly, at the subjective level, thoughts are the trio, are the triad, triputi. The one who knows the triputis are coming and going, the thought is coming and going, is beyond the thought. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. That Sakshi is beyond. He is not in the loop of getting grossified as I. So, seer without a seen is beyond the trio of seer, seen, seeing. When seeing does not result in the trio of seer, seen, seeing, that is our essential nature. So, which means between every two thoughts, between every two words that you are hearing, you are one with your essential nature. But we have created a habit, and that habit is I am seeing nothing. So you create a thought of nothing, but you don't realize that nothing is not an object. This pure consciousness is all the time with us, if only we do not get entangled and preoccupied with the trio. See? Only if we do not get entangled in the trio. So you have a choice. Either you become the owner of the object and get associated with the object. I am seeing, I am reading, I am listening, I am understanding, I am awake, I had a good sleep. You have got associated with the thought, object. Or you could let the mouth speak, let the mind think, because that is its job. What can you do about it? It is happening. You stand apart. You stand apart. When seeing does not result in the trio of seer, seen, seeing, that is our essential nature. This pure consciousness is all the time with us, if only we do not get entangled and preoccupied with the trio. Now, when I say that you stand apart from the trio, that will be the a, for the wise ones. We are not wise, we are otherwise. We are still learners, we are still on ground level, we are still struggling, we are still trying to work out what Jnaneshwar Maharaj is telling. So, for our sake, get into, at our level, get between the two thoughts, and in between those two thoughts, elongate that gap between the two thoughts, and there, maybe one day after listening, every day you meditate probably, or sometime when you are in silence, these words will resonate from within, that in that silence there is no knower known knowing, there is no experiencer experienced experiencing. Then what is there? There is only conscious. Another word for it is conscious silence. There is only conscious silence or conscious absence, or nothingness, emptiness, in and through pervaded by the consciousness. That is happening between both two thoughts. So it's a wonderful assessment of what is going on within us. And when we understand it in this way, it becomes a trigger for being in meditation. When you catch the metro in Sydney, Melbourne, India, what do they say? Mind the gap when the doors are closing. Once the door closes, you are locked in or locked out. But question, that time when the activity is happening, mind the gap. So here the message is the same as you are going through life. As your mind, life means continuous triputi is coming and going, and an imaginary continuity is called life. So what do we do? While living life, mind the gap. Be aware of the gap. That gap is the conscious silence. When you understand, I'm repeating it so many times, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is repeating it so many times, and his words I am reflecting upon here. But so many times this point has come. And I tell you, over the years that I have, this is the second time I'm taking Amrutanubhava, but it has made a big impact. These examples, these meditations, they are so simple that they are ridiculous. Just sit and go between the thoughts, or be attentive of the gap between the thoughts. Automatically, when you are attentive of the gap between the thoughts, the gap will start becoming bigger. It will start elongating. If your attention is on the thoughts, then the more thoughts will come. If your attention is on the mind, the gap, then the gap will become longer. Choose. And what Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying, think in that manner. Now another example is taken, and through that again the yoga bhumika will be expressed. Kaya word? कामावळो सरला दिवो रात्रीचा न करी प्रसवो तेणे गगने का भावो वाखाणिला. This state of yoga bhumika is described as the sky that is perceived when the day has ended and the night is not yet born. In other words, this gap, mind the gap Find where else. This is another place where the gap appears. When the day has concluded and the night has not become, that is the gap. That is the sandhi. Gap is also called as the sandhi period. So we are asked to chant Gayatri Mantra in the morning when the night has not gone and the day has just appeared, in that gap, and in the evening. When the day has ended and the night is not yet born, at that moment the sky, the space supports both the light and darkness. See how beautiful. This is similar to Shambhavi Mudra. You know Shambhavi Mudra? Half eyes closed, half eyes open. Try. Again, you have to try. What do you do? Eyes are closed, half eyes open, half eyes closed. You are seeing the darkness behind your eyelids, and you are seeing in the lower gap, you are seeing some objects that are that are perceivable. So you are aware of both the world also and the absence of the world also. करके देखो, फिर मजा आएगा. एक आंख बंद करके एक आंख खुला रखने से नहीं आता. You can't have the same disposition if you keep one eye closed and one eye open. No, you have to keep both eyes half open and half closed. Try. At that time, no. You are the illuminator of both darkness and light, of objectivity and non-objectivity, absence. Then the question is, who am I? I am other than both. So it is both day and night, or it is neither. So it is called sandhi. Oh, very good. Same word Swami is using. The sandhya time, whether in the morning or in the evening, is important. At that time, one is beyond. कहाँ गया? At that time, one is beyond the influence of day and night. In the morning sandhya, we are beyond the influence of night, ignorance, and in the waking state, knowledge. This junction is the beginning and the end of every duality. This is the time when consciousness becomes evident. That is why it is the custom to light the lamp at Sandhya time. You all do it at home in the morning and in the evening. This is the significance. You are not lighting lamp to please the Lord. You are lighting lamp for this reason, that the junction, that evening time, this evening sandhya or the morning sandhya, is the beginning and the end of every duality. It starts from the outside, slowly it becomes subjective, and the peak of subjectivity is when you reach your thoughts, you get into your mind. That is its peak. That is why Bhagwan Shankaracharya describes this junction as Laya Vikshepayo Sandhau Manaha Tatra Niramisham. That the Sandhi is that where the mind is sleeping as well as awake. Sleeping as well as awake. Do Shambhavi Mudra, half eyes, eyelids open, half eyelids, both the eyelids half open, half closed. The closed part, sleeping, emptiness, no objectivity. The other half, objectivity, various forms, words. This comes in Sadachara. The mind is without content but is not sleeping. And when we are told to be in this Shambhavi Mudra, it is not that we want to keep I will focus on what is being seen. I can see at this moment all the letters on the laptop. अच्छा अच्छा ये भी है ये भी I can see the wires, I can see the table, I can see the mats, I can see the screen of the laptop only a little bit. I can see the icons at the base of the laptop. नहीं बाबा, when you do this, your attention should go to the other side where there is no multiplicity, no duality, no objectivity. Because now what is happening? You are awake and consciously aware of no objectivity. Our problem is whenever we try to do this, when it is naturally taking place every night, we go to sleep when the mind becomes empty. But here in the Shambhavi, the mind initially half open to the world, half closed to the world. Then slowly we shift to the half closed to the world, and from there we continue to remain awake, and eventually our attention, the self reveals. Here it is told, he who is established in that sandhi, he is liberated and none else. So catch the gap and be the gap. Be the consciousness in the gap. How? Just like Lord Shiva and Vijnana Bhairav gave 112 exercises to Mata Parvati for meditation. Similarly, here in this, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is giving us 17 yoga bhumikas. We'll move on to the next one. घेतला श्वास बुडाला घापता नाही उठिला तैसा दोहीसी सिमवतला नवे जो अर्थ. नवे जो अर्थ. He says, the inhaled air is absorbed and the exhalation of air has not yet begun. This state of air or pranas is the yoga bhumika. See, every experience of yours, where there is coming and going, where there is a flux, where there is a beat, whether it is a heartbeat, whether there is the flux going on in your body, this is the flux of thoughts, this is flux of breath. Flux means where there is movement, and where there is movement, there is beginning of a movement, maintenance of a movement, and then conclusion of a movement. And then again there is a gap, and after that again, after that conclusion, again the movement begins, and that is the flux. So you observe where all in your life the flux is going on. The and the technical word for it is spandanam. Where is this spandanam going on? In your heart, in your eyelids, in your sensory perceptions, in your nose, in breathe in and breathe out. In the waking, dream and deep sleep, that is at a larger scale, again the spandanam is going on. Day and night, 24 hours, the spandanam is going on. See, everything in this creation is in the flux. You can catch this gap anywhere in this creation. These are just a mere few examples. The inhaled air is absorbed and the expulsion of air has not yet begun. There is no more modification of air happening at the point of junction in the form of prana, apana, vyana, udana, and samana. This thought is seen in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 27, when Krishna Bhagavan says, keep the sense organs away from the sense objects, keep the drishti in the center of the eyebrows, that is single pointed, not being deflected from one point to another. Our problem is focus. Our problem is stability. Our problem is abidance. But begin slowly, 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 it will happen. It doesn't take too long. The stages of stability are pratyahar, yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. When we talk about stability of the mind, it is dharana, dhyan, samadhi. What is dharana? Intermittent focus. So you are focusing, but there are breaks in between that focus. What is dhyan? Dhyan is intermittent focus, overall intermittent focus, but within that intermittent focus there are moments where the focus is continuous for a long period of time. So if you are sitting intermittent focus, every 5 seconds you are getting disturbed by some sound, by some memory, by some desire, by some itch, by some change of position, etc., etc., etc. As you keep practicing, you find that you are now able to sit for 15 minutes, and in those 15 minutes, before you were getting disturbed every 5 seconds, now you are getting disturbed only every 5 minutes. So those 15 minutes that you sat is still dharana. It's intermittent focus. But that 5 minutes that you sat without any disturbance is dhyan. There's no intermittency there. There's no disturbance there. There's no flux there. Then why did I not realize in those 5 minutes? Maybe the 5 minutes was not enough. Just like, why did I not get, my hunger was not satiated after first bite of food? Because that is not enough. If your tummy gets filled after 1 chapati or 2 chapatis, then it will ask for that. And if you keep becoming a glutton and eat 15 chapatis and only then your tummy is full, it is only because of habit. And as you keep training, same body, but now your stomach is slowly becoming smaller, and 1 chapati is enough to keep the tummy satisfied. We think that by interacting with the world, that by taking in the world, it will complete us. But when we come to satsang, we come to realize lesser the disturbances, lesser the objects of perception, more is the peace of mind. See? The most peace is only in sleep, where there is no thought. We are trying to recreate that in our waking state, where we are awake, but there is no objectivity in the mind. This is the dharana abhyas, where the mind is held under control with reference to the parameter called the place. What is that? Dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Dharana is with respect to desha. Dhyan is with respect to kala. and samadhi is with reference to or with respect to objectivity. So by doing dharana, our attempt is to go to focus on to go beyond the parameters of the space, location. And your space is what? I am this body. Space is I am in this room. Space is there is a thought coming in the mental space. And initially, we do need a support. And to that support, so we are told either you focus in the third eye or in the heart chakra or in the Vishuddhi chakra. So a location. Location can only be possible where there is space. Otherwise, your attention is going all over the body, sometimes hearing, sometimes feeling, sometimes touching, sometimes tasting, sometimes this, sometimes to the head, sometimes to the toes, sometimes to the scratching, sometimes to the pain in the back. But when you become when you are multi-pointed, then everything starts troubling you. When you are single-pointed, then everything starts settling down. It begins with the body settling down, then it begins with the breath settling down, then it continues with the mind settling down, and when there is nothing to settle down, there you are. This is the process. Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. This is Dharana Abhyas, where the mind is held under control with reference to the parameter called place, desha. There are three parameters for the control of the mind with reference to the place, time, and objectivity. Place or space, time and object. Desha, Kala, Vastu. When these three parameters operate together, it is called Sanyama. So, when in one sitting, be very attentive. When in one sitting or in your disposition with long practice, when dharana, dhyan, samadhi is happening in one go, then you are in sanyama. And that sanyama mind can achieve, is a very creative mind. Anything can be achieved with that sanyama in this creation. It's called sanyama. So here Bhagwan Krishna refers to the mind's control with reference to objects, sparsha, and to place. Chakshushu cha eva antare bhruvoho. When these two things happen, when the third parameter of time follows, the prana and apana get equalized. So now what are we doing? We are breathing in or breathing out and not initiating the next. If we are breathing in, we are not initiating the breathing out. We are holding it there. How long? Till you do not panic to breathe in. Other way, breathe out and do not breathe in. Stop there. Both of them, if you breathe out and don't breathe in, it will be, see how quickly the whole thing starts within you. And that's why when we say pranavam dirgha uccharam manorajyam viliyate. Manorajya, this uncontrolled thought fluctuations that are coming and going through our mind because of the stimuli. So what are we doing? Pranavam dirgha uccharam. Dirgha uccharam, long chanting of Om. And what do we instruct you? With the outgoing breath. Om. Om. When you are chanting with the outgoing breath and your attention is not on chanting, but your attention is on the gap, on the silence. Initially, if you can't silence after the Om is concluded, you wait there. 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds. You will find slowly, 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 it will very quickly, it expands into a few minutes. Then what is happening there? The prana, and it will not happen in one. It can, but I don't know what sadhana you have been doing, but over a period of time, the prana and apan get equalized. As you are doing it, initially what I was doing, Om. This also will become slow, and eventually the Om also becomes slow. There's no energy to chant that long. It must happen. And the prana and apan, both of them become neutralized or equalized, and the respiration becomes slow and shallow. So when I say that this long elongated Om has to be chanted or the breath has to be taken, it is only while you have the energy. When it is not there, as you are becoming calmer and calmer, when you become calm, your breath automatically is not so deep, it is shallow. See? The respiration becomes slow and shallow. The result is total absence of thoughts with reference to place, time, and object. The mind is conquered with reference to these three parameters, and when these three parameters are happening together, it is called Sanyama. And those who have come to Kailash, you will find that this happens naturally there. Why? No oxygen. Why? Because you get so exhausted and tired. That's why we keep going again and again. This is what this verse or OV conveys. The inhaled air has been fully absorbed, exhalation has not yet taken place, the body is still, respiration and pulsation in every cell is minimal, like that of a hibernating animal. The air in the body at this point can be classified as neither prana nor apana. This undifferentiated air is equivalent to undifferentiated consciousness, where the knower known knowledge differentiation has not taken place. So, where there is no in breath and out breath, there is no prana and apan, there is only silence. You can't think of silence for too long. When we are totally focused on the breath, then other thoughts will go away. When you are totally focused on japa, on your mantra, then you are not aware of the breath, you are not aware of the body. Similarly, when you are aware of the breath, then you are not aware of the thoughts, you are not aware of the body. Now you are aware of listening, you are not aware of everything that is around you, you are focused. So we have to come within us, we have to catch that gap. We have to catch, or if there is a sense of doing, because we cannot stop doing anything, something, we are activated all the time, then catch it. Between the two steps, there is a gap. The hand is rested, the hand is moving, there is a gap. And the next moment, there is a gap. Between the two breaths, there is a gap. Between the two eye blinks, there is a gap. Between two chewing, there is a gap. And you keep discovering this. But here is a big one, and that is through breath. We have explained that in detail. And this undifferentiated air is equivalent to undifferentiated consciousness, where there is no spandanam, when there is no this versus that, when there is no subject versus object at the thought level, when there is no day versus night at the outside level, when there is no in-breath versus out-breath at the breath level. Catch the gap. Or when they naturally, when they come about come to be in balance with each other, they get neutralized. That is the undifferentiated consciousness. That is the objectless consciousness. And its nature is immortality. And you are that. And you are that. How one who has arrived at this point develops universal vision, sarvatmya bhav, which transcends individual experiences, is stated in an unparalleled way, that if one were to experience all the sense objects by all the senses simultaneously, it would be an experience of self-realization. According to Shankaracharya, this is the Anvaya method. Om Sahasrashirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapad. Who is this Sahasrashirsha Purusha? Who is this Purusha? Who has the infinite number of heads, infinite number of eyes, infinite number of sense perceptions, infinite sense organs of action. And with that infinite number of eyes, he is seeing infinite things. With infinite ears, he is hearing infinite sounds. Wow. How will it be? And all this is happening at the same time. If one were to experience all the sense objects by all the senses simultaneously. And we have told you before that at any given moment only one thought appears. So it may be I am seeing the laptop or I am hearing the sound. So when this thought is over, then the next thought of sound will come. When I am hearing the sound is over, then I am tasting the saliva. That thought will come. So it's one at a time. But imagine, because right now you are imagining that you are having a wholesome experience of seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting and thinking at the same time. You are having an experience that I am consciousness also and I am matter also. But that is only at individual level. Imagine you are having the experience of all the sense objects simultaneously being experienced by the sense organs. How will it be? You cannot even, you lose your mind. And that is the state in which the wise people abide. And what is that state? The state of self-knowing, the state of self-realization. How beautiful Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying. And even more beautiful, or equally beautiful is the commentary by our Swamiji. So today we have seen three different examples. One is of the breath, the gap between the breath, and the other was when the day has ended and the night has not begun yet, the sandhi period, and the when one object has concluded and the other object has not come up yet, so you are in the gap. All these three examples are bringing you to the gap. That gap is nothing but objectless awareness. Objectless awareness is nothing but realized state. We can't use the word state. It's the state of, again, state of. Communication में ऐसे ही होता है. That is self-realization. Don't delay it. Don't postpone it. So wonderful, so thrilling. Rather than take more examples and just keep talking, I think we will stop here for today. Contemplate on this one. These three examples and the previous examples which we took last class. And if you want, in the evening, today, at I think 11:30, I think there is a satsang. I can put the Zoom on, and then in the evening also there is a satsang at 4:30 on Mrityunjay mantra. So I can put the Zoom on, you can attend if you want. Otherwise, take this and dive into yourself and be. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om. So tomorrow evening we will have I'll send the message.
Okay.
About the class. That will be the, what is that? Upanishad class. And Wednesday I have to go to someone's house for bhiksha. If they say we can have the satsang there at that time, then I will do the Zoom class. If not, we'll have to do it on Friday or another time. देखते क्या होता है. Okay? Hari Om.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you, Swami.
Hari Om, Amma.